Hi, I am Tasha McNeil, author of Behind the Mask, and you are watching the Inspiration by Loretta Show. Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Inspiration by Loretta Show. I'm here today with author Tasha McNeil, and she's going to be talking to us about her books, about her experiences, and about her journey. So sit tight and relax, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the show. This is the Inspiration by Loretta Show. As you know, where we explore minds and inspire hearts. I'm here today with Tasha McNeil. She's the author of Transform and her newly released book, Behind the Mask. We're going to get into the book and find out what the inspiration for her book was, and we're going to talk about a whole lot of things. So, hi Tasha, welcome to the show. Hi. All right. It's so good to have you here with us on today. What I'd like to do first is I'd like to get the audience more familiar with exactly who you are. So tell me, who is Tasha McNeil? The author, the mother, the wife, the woman?
Well, Tasha McNeil, I would say that I am a very laid-back person. I love to laugh, and I just like to have fun. I am very creative. I love to create different things, and everything that I see, I can always, see like more to it than what somebody else or other people see. I would say that I am really reserved, not really quiet, but I like to observe people, and I love like nature and culture. I would just say I'm just a normal individual person. I have two sons. My sons are 17 and 10. And I'm newly married. My husband is in Afghanistan, but I know he'll be back soon. I would just say that Tasha McNeil is just a very laid-back, original, ordinary person.
So what led you to writing? How did you discover your passion for writing, or was it a plan to become an author?
Well, when I was very, very young, I would always imagine and dream of places and things, and I would write. I was always a really good writer, but I would write like children's stories, and then I said I was going to be like a journalist or something like that. I wanted to talk to people, and I don't know, I always dreamed of journeying to I don't know where, but just talking about it, writing about it, and it's just what I wanted to do. So when I was young, that is what I didn't ever think I would write a book, but I knew that I wanted to write. And I started out writing, like poetry. My first poetry book I wrote probably maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but that is where I started, just writing poetry and like as a child, little funny children's stories.
Okay. Now, have you ever published any of your children's stories?
No, because I can't remember.
Okay. is the inspiration behind your books? I know you write a lot of inspirational books to kind of help people to get their lives in order, like transformed. And when you read this book, it kind of give you a lot of you and how you did it, and then you can take that and transfer it to, like, I could take the information from this book and transfer it to my own life, to help me along on my journey to transformation. So, where did the inspiration for this come from?
Well, I am, I'm saved. I haven't always been saved. That's a whole another story in itself. But my inspiration came from, my own life experiences, and then basically, like when I would do my hair and different things, that just normal everyday routine things, and I would just hear my spirit, like would transform. I saw the picture or the cover of my book before I ever even wrote it. And I saw it, and I saw the title, but I'm just like, maybe no. So, 2 months had gone by, and then I saw it again, and I just heard a voice say, when are you going to write the book? So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do it. And so when I was writing the book, I said, well, what am I going to write about? And I just saw what he gave me, the chapters, and every day he would just tell me what to write, and it would all relate to my experiences and things that I was feeling like, what's going on in me. And so I would say that my inspiration comes from God. That's where because I can't write it if he doesn't give it to me. Right. So it's just all, it's a part of him wanting to help other people and then help me at the same time.
Okay. Now, is it difficult to share parts of yourself in your books? Because it's such a personal thing to share your own experience with someone else. So was that a difficult process for you?
I would say, and behind the mask, that is difficult, because I kind of I think that's the transform. It just talks about, where I was completely transformed from, who I was in the past and all of my mess and all of the stuff. But then behind the mask, it kind of reminds me of the residue of what was left over. And then, I kind of, I'm explaining, what's going on inside of me. I mean, just saying that, if you see me, you would think, oh, she got it all together. Right. But then it was still some things in me that I was dealing with, and I'm just like, my spirit is like, let me go. Just get the rest of the stuff off so you can go. So I would say, and behind the mask, I'm more real and more open, because I just couldn't I couldn't look like that anymore. I was just like dying. My spirit was like, Tasha, get off me.
Wow,
get off me.
That's something to think about. And I'm going to let you guys think about that for a second. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with some more from Miss Tasha McNeil. Sit tight and relax. We'll be right back.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I go by the name of Gabriel.
I'm JR.
And together we make up a company called Timeless Sounds, and you are watching The Inspiration by Loretta Show.
Alright, we are back. I'm here today with Miss Tasha McNeil. If you're just tuning in, she's the author of Transformed and Behind the Mask. These are two of her books, but she also has other books published. But these are the two that we're focusing on today. Transformed is her newly released book. Tasha, right now would be a good time to kind of tell everybody where they can go to pick up a copy of either one of your books.
Well, I am local here in Charleston, so you can always, get books from me. And then they are posted on, you can get them off of Amazon or Books A Million or Barnes & Noble, which is more expensive. I won't charge you the shipping.
Now, do you have a website or any networking sites that you would have people to kind of communicate with you or give you feedback on your books?
Yeah, if you on Amazon, I have an author page, and you can just once you click on my name and you pick up one of my books, you can just go to my author page, and then you can just give me feedback on my books. And I'm also on Facebook, but you have to request me as a friend. So
what I want to ask you is, I know especially in Transformed, you talk about there's a quote actually in the book, and I highlighted it because it kind of spoke to me. It was saying that understanding that living has nothing to do with our natural body or our everyday experience. So my question to you is, how do you begin to live?
How? I had to ask myself the same question, and that's why I wrote the book. I just I believe that a lot of times, you know, I was thinking, and I talk about in my book too. It's closer towards the end, and I just, you know, I kept feeling something like it has to be more than just, you know, going to work. You know,
Right.
I'm a wife, which I love being a wife. Just doing the natural thing. I said, Lord, it has to be more to just where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just realized I just allowed the Lord to just like show me. You know, one day I was just driving the same route to work that I drive every single day. I have driven that route.
Right.
And you know, he was just like, look at the trees. And I'm like, okay, I'm looking. It wasn't different. And then, you know, by the time I had gotten to work, he was just showing me how, and he just said like a tree by natural instinct has a desire to live
Mm-hmm.
without realizing it is alive, and basically saying that that is where I was, and then showing me that I was living in my natural instinct, meaning I was just being like the tree. A tree just knows that it's supposed to reach out to the sky,
Right.
and everything, but it does not have the understanding that I'm alive, you know, I am alive.
Right.
And so he was just basically showing me how I was living in my flesh in the natural, not letting my spirit live. And I'm just like, what I was feeling is my spirit actually saying, let, you know, it's more, live, Tasha, live.
Right,
It's
right.
more to you than just, you know, wearing nice clothes. I love the clothes. It's more to it because we are, you know, it's so much more that we're created to do and what God wants us to do, and
Mhm.
He wants us to be flowing and have fulfillment, and that does not come from, you know, like, you know, materialistic
Right,
things and stuff
right.
like that. It, basically, in order to live, you gotta let yourself, the person that you are in this world, you gotta let that person die, because, you know, you just have to let, you know, we've been branded and labeled from the time we were young.
Right.
You know, you conform to this world all, you know, from the time you're young until you get older. So you lose your identity. So you looking like everybody else, sounding like everybody else, doing like everybody else,
Right.
being a dead person walking around. And that's how I was,
Wow.
a dead person.
Wow. That's pretty deep. I would not think that, you know, you could be here
Mm.
doing everything that you do and not really be alive.
Right.
So when you came to that realization, how did you begin to transform yourself so that you could live?
Look at where I was, and it was scary because, you know, to try to talk to somebody else about it who did not understand. They looked
Right.
at you like, really, girl, you just haven't been like
Right.
no, I'm not having like I'm 33, no,
Right.
no, and I just had to just really just had to be honest with me and say, you know, and I mean, it's not like I didn't know, because
Mhm.
you know, it's not like you don't
Right.
know.
Right.
You can, and I guess you have two choices. You can still live and alive and just continue to walk around and exist like everybody
Right.
else.
Right.
Or you can, and I was just afraid, of course, because, you know, you work with people, you got the family, everybody has a way that they're used to you being. Everybody has a
Right.
way that they're used to seeing Tasha.
Mm-hmm.
And then your spirit is like, yeah, that may be, that may be what they see, but that's not really you. And then, you know, another interesting thing I was doing, actually cleaning up, and the Lord was showing me how people basically, if you are in existence, people basically only see your characteristics. You are living in your characteristics instead of living in your true identity. Because it's a way you can describe me, but then
Right.
you don't really know me if I don't show it to you.
Right.
So
right.
basically, they knew my characteristics. They knew that I was funny, that I liked to laugh, But they didn't know anything else because I didn't allow it to.
Right, so they didn't know the inner
No.
you, the deeper side of you, other than what you put out on the exterior.
Yeah, that's the only thing they knew, because I wasn't, I didn't really start to write the way that I am now until I guess my spirit was like
trying to give you a wake up call.
Wake up. You need to wake up. So.
Right. Okay. That's pretty interesting, and I'm sure that our viewers and a lot of people out there haven't even given that a thought. Now my question is, does your relationship with God depend on you having that knowing or that that realization that you're existing but you're not truly living?
I can say, I can't speak for other people, but for me, it did, because when I was asleep, and I could say, if I had not gotten saved and allowed myself to transition, I would have never, awoke into who I really am, because it all goes back to, Genesis, when he talks about us being made in his image and likeness and everything, and all, you just cannot refute that. You just cannot do it. Behind the Mask is when I woke up. So I couldn't write it until I woke up from my sleep then. And I was in church, I did all of that.
Right.
But
so even people with the Christian background, the Christian upbringing, the people who are active and busy in the church, working in the church, they can still be just simply existing and not truly be living.
Yeah, I would say that for me, I was, because what happens is, if you read Behind the Mask, you can get caught up in the mask of religion. So now you looking like, how people have a label of what Christian is.
Right.
You looked and acting, all of the stuff, and you only operating and reacting on what you have been conformed to do, what the label of a Christian is. So you look like Christian, you acting like, and all this stuff, and so.
But you don't even understand.
You
what
don't
true
even
Christianity
really,
is.
you don't even realize that at some point in time, you fell asleep and you didn't even know.
Wow. On that note, we're going to take a break for our poetry segment, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about Behind the Mask, because I want to know: are you hiding behind a mask? Don't you want to know? We'll be right back.
Be Inspired Video Poetry.
Miserable as a winter's rain, like a caged animal going insane. My mind, my soul, and spirit, which once soared, has lost its way and become stuck. The vision for my life's path has met disappointment and harsh luck. Now a haunting nightmare are the dreams that once pricked my very soul. Living in the stain of my fantasy, how I long to behold. Shredding in the fabric of my destiny, completely stunned by the irony that my sabotager is me. I see everyone around me living, yet inside I'm slowly dying. Through all the failed attempts in my life, how do I convince myself to keep on trying? I look at my own reflection and am amazed at what I see. I come to realize that what is not what used to be. Vague, yet still visible. A speck of light remains in the remnants of me. I'm in the process of renewal. My wings are about to be set free. My vision, my future, and my victory is not contingent upon mere luck. It will take hard work and determination. It will take inner strength to become unstuck.
All right, we are back. All right, Tasha, so we were talking a little bit about your book, your new book, Behind the Mask, which can be picked up on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, or anywhere books are sold. You can get a copy of Behind the Mask by Author Tasha McNeil. And be sure to go on her author page on Amazon, leave her a comment, tell her what you think, and if you want to connect with her on Facebook, you're going to have to send her a friend request, okay? Tasha L. McNeil, all right? Now, with Behind the Mask, what inspired this book?
Oh gosh. Well, for that book, I just, I don't know, I knew I wasn't going through some the motions or whatever people like to say. I wasn't going through that. I just felt dry and dull and dead. I talk about it in my book. I just felt like, I'm like, Lord, no. I'm like, I'm not flowing. I can feel, you know, you ever seen a river that's just still? I'm like, no, something's just, I can't do this. And so back again, I was doing my hair. He always talked to me because that's why I'm focused.
Right.
I make my hair look right. So I saw the title Behind the Mask before I even wrote it. I saw the title and I'm like, what do you mean? You know, like, what do you mean? I kept seeing it over and over again. And then I just, when I would be at work, I would just, in different places, I don't know, my spirit would just kind of tune me, and I could see myself and how I was acting. Like myself coming out and just watching, saying, look at you. You see how you acting? You see? And I'm like, wait a minute. You know, different things I could kind of, and I just started, I'm like, what? And he said, look, that's not you. You act in a certain way. And he said, you wonder why. Basically, you wonder why you dying. You wonder why your spirit dying. Because that person that you trying to, you know, please everybody, do all this stuff,
right.
That's a mask. That's not you. It can be, you know, shame. You could be living in insecurity. A mask could be, you know, we could try to conform and try to please other people and fit the group.
Right.
A mask is just anything that'll cause you from reacting in a certain way to fit your environment rather than being yourself. Right.
Okay. So you began to discover that you are dying again. You're wearing all these masks. How did you take them off?
How did I take them off?
Like, you know, you see the movie Face Off, he just take it off, you know?
Well, if you read, like when you read the book, I go through different phases, like, and I didn't even realize it was just how he was showing me how I had to do it. And like one of the first things, you have to understand what a mask is, and so I had to understand what I was dealing with, what a mask was.
And in the book, you kind of break down what a mask is so that people can recognize, like, okay, I'm wearing a mask. You know, when you're reading the book, and then you're like, okay.
Right.
I didn't know I was wearing a mask.
You know, you don't know. And see what the mask does. The mask makes you believe, like, you can be in dysfunction and feel, and the mask will make you think you functioning. So that mask will make you believe a lie instead of believing in truth. Right. So when you wear the mask.
Question, I hate to interject, but when a person is wearing a mask, could it be something that they're hiding from themselves? There's some things about themselves that they don't want to see or they don't want to know, so they kind of hide behind this fake persona that they put out into the world, or like you say, a mask can be shame, to hide themselves from everybody else because they don't want anybody to know who they really are.
Yeah, and that's true, because, and I talk about that in my book too. And the only way, you know, that you will be able to take it off is you have to recognize the mask you are wearing. I didn't even realize that I was still dealing with some, you know, issues and stuff from the past, and that was from like shame and embarrassment and things that had happened in the past. I'm 33 and my youngest son is 17. So I had him when I was 15 years old. I was young, very young. And sometimes I don't always want to tell people that, but you know, that was then. But I was like, that's shameful, that's embarrassing, because I didn't want to I didn't want to have that.
Judged.
Yeah, I didn't want to be judged. I don't have that mirror image, like somebody looking at, she was just so fat. She just,
right.
You know how people do.
I know.
And so I just had to get that off, you know, because I'm not, you know, Laura's like, look, that was then, but you have to look at where you are now.
The
Look,
transformation.
look what happened. Right. Like, look where you are now. So.
Okay. Interesting. And you made a very good point. That who you were sometimes don't have nothing to do with who you are. You know, because once God has delivered you from something, you can't allow people to push you back.
Right.
Or you can't be ashamed of what you've done, because whatever it is that I believe, my own personal opinion is, whatever you've done in your past has shaped you and molded you into the person that you are. So you take that negative thing that you feel you've done and you use that to fuel positivity so that it can change somebody else's life. Because if you never share your story and someone's going through that, how can they know that, okay, I can make it because she did? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So sometimes the things that happen to us aren't always for us.
Right.
It's for the benefit of somebody else. Like you say, God allow you to go through certain things, and then the miraculous part I find is that you're able to communicate with Him in such a way that, you know, it's like when you talk about God, it's like you talking to me, like sitting right next to you, like, you know, and I kind of envy that. I'd like to have, you know, that type of a relationship with God. Now, my question is, how did you develop that connection with God that you hear from Him so clearly and so vividly, and He can direct you in such a way to actually write these books to not only help you but to help other people?
Well, I would say it took sometimes I'm thinking, is it really Him? I have to wait it out a little while.
Right.
Wait it out so He remind me again, like, girl, and I can tell, you can pretty much, after, you know, talking to Him and trying Him for a while, you will be able to tell your own voice.
I would advise, and I'm sure Tasha's with you on this, if you have not established a relationship with God, now would be a great time for you to do so that He can pour into you as He's done for Tasha and myself as well, and use you to do the great things that you are actually created to do. And, you know, we want you to come from behind these masks. If you want to find out more, learn more about what a mask is and how to begin your process of transformation so that you no longer have to hide behind a mask or wear a mask, I advise you to pick up a copy of Tasha's book, just newly released book. I think we released it just last week.
Right.
Behind the Mask by Author Tasha L. You can pick it up at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, or anywhere that books are sold. Or you can get a personal copy from her if you're local here in Charleston. Just look her up on Facebook, friend her, send her a message, find out, you know, look out for information on her book signings or any events that are coming up. You definitely want to have a copy of this book in your library. It'll definitely be a benefit to you. I have one. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back from the break, we're going to have a little bit more with Miss Tasha McNeil. So sit tight and relax. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Cindy with Coffee Cakes in Goose Creek. You're watching Inspiration by Loretta.
All right, we are back. I'm still here with Miss Tasha McNeil, author of Behind the Mask, Transformation, and she has several other books published. Natasha, I wanted to ask you, what is it that you want your readers to get from your books?
Well, especially for this very last one, I think the last one was one that really really helped me. Right. And I just wanted to, you know, I want to see people be everything that God is saying. I just wanted to help people. You know, it's not something that I'm trying to get, you know, famous or,
right.
You know, I'm not looking for any financial gain or anything. I just really, really, really want people to wake up like I did.
Wake up, people. It's a new day. It's time for some new things. So, what advice would you give to other young women who might be aspiring to be a writer or to do anything in their life? What advice would you give them?
My advice would be, it's just you have to believe in yourself and just do it.
Right.
So just, I would say, if you feel in your spirit to do it, it's already equipped you to do it. You can do it. The first step is just stepping out and doing it. So if you want to write, I would just say, start writing.
That's some great advice, because don't let other people hinder you, and then don't hinder yourself, because sometimes, a lot of times, we talk ourselves out of most things. But if you can hear God and you can feel in your spirit that He's telling you to do something, I believe you should be obedient, because God won't put it in you if He didn't have it, if it wasn't going to serve a greater purpose. So, I mean, do whatever it is that God has called you to do and be happy in doing it. But first, you got to wake up. You got to be transformed. You got to put down the mask and be all that God has created you to be. So, I want to tell you again, if you haven't done it already, make sure to go out and pick up a copy. Anywhere Tasha McNeil's book, you can check out our Amazon author page, and you can find out about all of her other books. You can purchase books there. You can purchase it anywhere books are sold. This is the newest release book, Behind the Mask. I pick up a copy of this so that you can learn about these masks that we're wearing and how we can come from behind them. Well, this has been great. I want to thank you so much for being a guest on the show, and I look forward to talking to you some more, because I know you got a lot more books in you. So, all right, everybody. This has been this edition of the Inspiration by Loretta Show. And be sure to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend that you watch the Inspiration by Loretta Show. And next time, they need to come on over and get a healthy dose of inspiration for themselves. As always, I look forward to seeing you. It is my prayer that something shared here today has inspired you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Be blessed, everybody.